All right, folks, back on the Boss Man Show. You're seeing right there, new coach, Ali Farokhmanesh with me on the Boss Man Show out of Fort Collins. Ali, gonna talk to you, man. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you having me on, man.
Anytime, man. How's the world been for you, man? Moving that one seat over, man, with all the responsibility, man, of being the head guy, man, of the Rams.
Man, it's been great so far. Obviously, it was an easier adjustment because you're only moving down the hallway, really. And knowing everybody, knowing the people you need to talk to, like those small little logistics of things, like that made the transition better. And to be honest, like the biggest difference is just more people excited to talk to you. Like that's about it. That's the only perk I have is a little more excitement when I'm talking to people as opposed to assistant coach Ali. I get a little more respect with the name and the change title, so I'm good with it so far.
Oh yeah, you get stuff top of stack quicker there, buddy.
Ah, exactly.
Gotta get stuff done, man. No doubt, man. Well, we're talking about your journey, man. Getting the coaching, man. So for you, at what point in your career after you got through playing, or while you're playing, that you decided that you wanted to get into coaching?
Yeah, with my parents were always coaches, so they were volleyball coaches forever growing up. So I grew up in that world, really. My biggest influences in my life were college athletes, and I was lucky enough to see what that was and watch them grow and compete. And like my favorite athletes were women's volleyball players. That's who I thought were my heroes back then because that's all I saw with my parents. And that kind of led me into coaching and want to be a part of that. Then after I got done playing, it kind of was a natural transition. And I got lucky enough to get on with Tim Miles in Nebraska and start my journey there. But being around college athletics and in that environment my whole life, that's all I knew, and I always wanted to be a part of it. And I do think it's really cool for my kids now that I got four kids, for them to grow up in that environment, and they get to see people from all walks of life. And I think that's what's special with college sports is like we got people from all over the country coming to be at Colorado State now, and different influences and experiences and whatnot. And for my kids to be able to see that every day, like that's one of the small perks about being a college athletics coach is your kids get to witness people and watch them grow and watch them go through their dreams and build their work ethic up and watch that happen before your eyes. And I was lucky enough to see it, and now I'm lucky enough to put my kids in that same position. They get to see that every day with the guys that we get to bring in here now.
No doubt. I'm a son of a coach too, Ali. He was a high school coach, my father, here in Atlanta. So I always love when they invite him to their weddings, their getting a new job, parties,
Yeah.
barbecues, and just talk about that for you being in the business as long as you have, man. We haven't seen your players now have families like you and inviting you to stuff, sending you pictures of the kids growing when they get a new job, open a new business. How cool is that for you knowing that you had a piece in that young man's growth and development of his life?
Nah, it's big time. It's easy for you to point at like the guys that we've put in the NBA and whatnot, or guys playing overseas, and obviously that's a huge accomplishment in of itself too. But I agree with you. It's more about me seeing them as husbands, as fathers, as good people in the community, and watching all those things that they've learned through basketball to become the people that they are now. And I think it's one of the greatest tools in life. It's not just about the basketball piece of it. You can learn so much about being resilient, working through adversity, working with other people, having a sacrifice, all the things, all the traits you need to be successful in life, you can learn through basketball. And I think that's what makes it special. But that's what I love to see when these guys start building their lives post basketball, and to see where they are today. Like that's the ultimate. I think that's the ultimate compliment in your program is not we don't only just build good young basketball players, like we build young men that eventually become great adults too.
And Ali, like I tell you, man, like for me, like it's funny you say that, man, because like I was talking about the other day about on the show, I learned a lot of my life lessons from playing sports.
Yep.
That's what taught me a lot of my life lessons. I still use them to this day. Now I'm an entrepreneur, I'm on a radio show, I'm my own man, but those principles from those sports that I played and been around huddles, been around coaches is still pushing me to this day as I try to lead my business the right way. So those things we learn playing competitive sports, it stays with you your whole life.
No, absolutely. And I think that's, it's one of those things too, when you're in it, you got some kids that don't really take to all those lessons all the time and the teach because it's hard, right? You want someone to grow. Like there's gonna be pain, there's gonna be sacrifices, there's gonna be some situations that you don't want to go through. But I don't judge these guys who they are today. I want to see like if I do right by them by the time they're 28, 29, then they call me back and they're thankful for those lessons in those environments. That's what it's all about. Because I know in those moments we're gonna have some painful struggles. There's gonna be some things they don't want to do that I'm requiring of them, but I know what the end goal is. I know what the vision is going forward. And it's hard to see at times at that age what that looks like. But if I know that by the time they're 28, 29, and they can call me back and thank me for those things, I know I'm going about it the right way. They might not thank me in that first moment when we're 21, 22, but I do know if we keep doing it the right way and we treat these guys with some respect and they know what the vision is for them, well, I know that by the time they're 28, 29, they're going to call back and thank us for doing that for them too.
And for you, what are kind of the key traits you look for in a player off the court per se? I know they got to tell on the court, but what are you looking for in a guy off the court that fits your culture, that really can buy into what you want to do, build them up as young men and help them grow and develop as young men? So what do you kind of look for in a young man off the floor per se, more so than on the court?
Yeah, I think one of the big things for us is that I don't think people change much. Like I don't think you change necessarily. I think you grow. And I think the difference between that is that you have a foundation of like who you are morally, what you're about, what you stand for. Those things are kind of set, right? But how we can grow you from those different areas now, that's where I think the biggest changes happen. And for us, like what I want to look for right away is like who's influencing them, like the people around them, like your parents, their trainers, whoever it is. Like, what are they about? If are they about winning? Are they about they do they understand what it means to be a part of a team? If they don't, like those are people influencing them. So it's gonna be hard for that kid to make the right decisions to be a part of our program if the people around him aren't influencing him in the way that's going to benefit them either. So I think that's first and foremost. Then it's like, are they a great teammate? And how do they handle themselves on the court when adversity hits? Are they instantly blaming their teammates? Are they blaming the coach? Or do they look at internally first and then talking to their teammates, trying to get everybody on the same page? That's a big piece for me. And then as a small thing, but within all the aspects of what we look at off the court, I want to know stories about them. And I think what I mean by that is you're right. What you think is working hard or sacrificing is completely different than what I think is working hard and sacrificing to get to where you are. So I don't want to ask like, hey, do they love basketball and does he work hard? Well, you can be like, yeah, for sure, he works hard. I want to know a story. Like if there's some story about a kid that's got to get up and he's got to take the bus every morning to go work out at 6 in the morning, and he's taking a bus 5 days a week just to do that. Well, I know he's going to sacrifice whatever it takes once he gets to college in order to make it to that next step too. And as opposed to the kid that, man, he's got the house in his backyard. Well, that's easy. Now you just walk outside. But the kid that's got to sacrifice and make all those other decisions to get to the gym, I want that kid on my team because I know whatever he's going to do, whatever it takes to get to where he wants to get to. And that's to me, like I'm finding stories. I'm asking stories about those things because I think that has a bigger influence, and that we don't have to judge what's hard work or not. Now you're telling me.
No doubt, man. And you know what you said is so very important because it goes into we all know when you get to college, you was probably one of your best players in high school on your team,
Yeah.
and everybody can play. So it gets into understanding your role, accepting your role, because you and I both know from playing. If guys don't accept their role, it can break a team apart. It cause dissension on the team, cause dysfunction where it does not need to be. And talk about that piece, getting guys to accept roles and understanding, hey, for this year's team, this is your role, and your
Yeah.
role can develop and grow if you put in the work. But for right now, the development of this team, we need you in this role. Talk about that,
Yeah.
young man, understand that at those tender ages that we all used to be at.
Yeah, and trust me, I want dudes still. Like
Yeah,
that's first and foremost, right? But we do look at times for guys also that have had to play multiple roles in their high school career, AAU. I don't necessarily want the guy that's always been the guy, right? Because then you don't. That's gonna be so hard for you to adjust to it, right? If you've always been the guy since you were a sophomore in high school, like it's gonna in AAU that's going to be very difficult for you to adjust to a situation where everybody else has been the guy at some point in their career. So we do look at that. Like, have they had to deal with that? Have they had to be in situations where they were the second option, third option? Because those guys, they know how to play with other good players. And I always tell people this too, like, it's great to be the guy, right? Everybody wants that. But to be honest, like the people that have the longest careers, they learn how to play with other good players because at some point, if you're reaching the highest levels, you don't want to be the best player on every team because I don't we're not going to have a bunch of Steph Currys and James Hardens here, right? We might, and I'd love that too, but I want guys that can be that, but also can be Steve Kerr back in the day, can be the Draymond Greens where you're the third, fourth option. I don't want the air balls that Draymond shoots, but like something like that. But I want all of those guys to be able to be in those situations. So we do look for that. Like I love people that have had to be the guy on their high school team, then they go to the AU team, they're the third option, or that they were a freshman, sophomore, and they were on a state title team where they were coming off the bench. They know what it means to be a part of a team then, and they know what it means to sacrifice. And so they understand when they get here, like what that entails for us to reach our goals is only going to help them individually along the lines too.
No doubt. And for you, man, let me ask you this. In your career here at Colorado State, helping these young men coming in now, since you've been there, you're the head coach, so you know what the lay of the land is. Talk about that when you're getting hopped in the portal, trying to find guys to fit this year's roster coming up, knowing that you've been there for a while, so you're not coming into it brand new. You can tell them what it is to win at Colorado State, what it's all about.
No, absolutely. And I think it's a lot easier to sell now when you got four guys that you've developed to be NBA players in the last 4 seasons. Like that doesn't happen anywhere in the country really. And then we're not talking about one and done dudes. Like those guys they just needed a platform. They didn't need development. They just needed a platform to show what they can do. What we've done is like we've had guys that are in the 300s, 400s, unranked, that just got a chip on their shoulder, and I think that's what we want to develop these guys into. But over the time, like it takes time to develop that. The guys change, but I love where we're at with the portal class, especially the guys we brought in. They fit how we want to play. They fit us culturally. We were very specific about what we wanted, in not only as a basketball player, but as people. And I think we found that pretty quickly with the guys that we brought in. And I'm excited. I think they fit. Everyone fits the role that I want them to play in. Now it's just getting them here and see how it all connects. And I think that's the biggest step now. I think we have the right people in the room. Now it's how do we get them all connected to bring out the best in each other.
And it's similar when you workout start here with summer here. It's going to be more of team stuff to kind of put in your concept, what you want to do, or it's going to be more like a little bit of individual stuff mixed in with some team, just so you can kind of let guys get better this summer as well, so you don't have to do so much come the fall semester.
Yeah, and it's a lot of our stuff's going to be based on individual development the most because I think as we grow as individuals, our group will change. And so first and foremost, we got to get better individually. And so we're gonna put a big emphasis on our individual development in the summer. We're picking right now. I'm talking with the guys, talking with our staff about what two skills we want to add. So whatever those two things are that one guy needs to get better at to change their career, but also what we need them to do this year, we're gonna focus on that. We can't get better at 10,000 things. Like I want two things specifically that we're gonna grow them in individually. And then we got to change their bodies. This is the best time for us to grow and change their bodies in terms of being able to go through a whole Mountain West Conference season is a lot. So we got to be strong enough. We got to be agile enough. We got to be able to understand what recovery is and building those habits this summer, I think is going to pay dividends for us once the actual season starts. But we're going to do a lot of individual stuff. And then just like what you said too, we got to get them connected in terms of how to share the ball, how they communicate with each other. That's our biggest thing is grow individually, and then how do we build a team over the summer?
And how surreal is it going to be for you when you facing Tim Miles for the first time in conference play, a guy that gave you your break here? How's it going to feel for you when you just walk down and shake his hand doing pregame for the first time?
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. No more, I don't have to do mail outs for him anymore. But it is. It's gonna be a surreal moment, and it's to be honest, it's not gonna be fun. I don't like playing my friends. Like Northern Iowa, one of the guys reached out that he wasn't on staff when I was there. But he asked about playing a game, and I was like, absolutely not. Like I don't. Why would I want to do that? You're my people. So to be honest, in some ways, I'm not looking forward to it. I don't like playing Coach Miles. Like exactly what you said. That's the guy that gave me my start. I don't want to beat him, but I sure as hell don't want to lose either. So I guess it is what it is. But it's definitely gonna be surreal, and I'm looking forward to it in the sense that Man, that's the guy that gave me my start. But and no, I don't really want to play him at the same time, to be honest with you.
I hear you, man. Well, brother, I'm glad to have you on the show, man. I hope to see you doing a live period in July when you're out recruiting. If you're in Atlanta at the Lake Point, I hope to see you there, man, and the Peace Jam as well. So I'll be cheering for you, brother. Hope to have you on the show again real soon. And we'll definitely be cheering for the Rams down here in ATL, brother.
Nah, I appreciate it, man. And now we got Rex Steiner there out with us now. Like, I swear that everybody in Atlanta knows that guy because all of a sudden, like, we got people hitting us up being interested in Colorado State from Atlanta. So that might be the new hotbed for us.
No doubt. Hey, ATL to Fort Collins pipeline, brother. It's a go easy flight
Exactly.
from Delta, brother.
Exactly. I just need your help with it. We'll get it rolling.
No doubt. I got you, bro.
Appreciate you.